Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye has friends. No, really, Jeff has friends. Jeff's friends are on this podcast. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship.
Friendship.
Welcome to Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast, episode number 29. This was a fun one, man. We talked about all sorts of great stuff that happened just this week, and then we went off on tangents like we always do. It was good to have Aaron and Aaron in the pod back, and then Tony in the pod as always, and then my buddy Randy Valerio joined us. Randy, you've probably seen on my Instagram. We travel around together doing comedy. He's a newer comedian, very, very funny guy, and a very funny guy off stage as well. So you can see him doing stand-up with me this weekend at Rooster Teeth Feathers in Sunnyvale, California, just by San Jose, sort of by San Francisco. But anyways, real funny guy. So he's joining us, but it's real casual, not your standard interview style, just us goofing off, being boys. Patreon, thank you so much for all the Patreon subscribers. Starting next week, we're going to have a whole different Patreon model. Way more content. I've been slacking on it, so I apologize. Way more videos, way more stuff like that. So if you'd like to watch this or get more videos or even just have all the goodies, never pay for stand-up comedy club tickets, meet and greets, things like that, go to patreon.com/Jeff Dye, sign up. I think you'll be happy you did. You'll enjoy it, and we're gonna really kick it up a notch very soon. This episode's very fun. I know you're gonna love it. Enjoy. Well, how long do you think it's gonna be till we let Aaron get another stab at that?
I don't know. He's been bad.
I messed it up pretty bad.
He's been bad from the class. Well, we had him do it.
What'd you do? How'd you fuck
I
that up?
just swung and missed.
He just
really
doesn't
hard.
do it right. Like,
He broke
But
the
he
mic.
really
He
wanted to do it. He really wanted to do
He's
it.
literally watched us do it for like 28 episodes. He sees that we go 1, 2, 3, clap,
Yeah.
and it's like that's all just for editing, so I can time it everything. And I'm like, all right, Aaron, give me a clap. He just like. I'm like, first you got to make sure the camera can see it. Then you got to give me a countdown so I can sync it up.
They
Like,
didn't
also,
talk me
that-
through any of that.
That is part of how
you've
Aaron.
seen it happen.
Part
for
of how Aaron gets
weeks.
laughs is he says, "I don't need your formula. I'll do this."
100%. And also, if I've watched 100,000 home runs in my lifetime, if you show me a major league pitch, I'm swinging and missing.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
hitting
try
a
to
home run.
hit it with a
I'm
lamp or something. You'd
I'm hitting
still
a home
use a
run on the
bat and
first
try to
one.
do it
That's
the
what
way
I'm
they
doing.
do it.
Oh, but my swing would be all off. Like the way like that, take that step
Yeah, but that's just
in.
because
I'd
you're
be like,
incapable. That's not just because of choice.
Aaron wouldn't have a strike zone. He's so fucking small.
I liked his
I know,
analogy.
exactly. Everything is just...
2-inch strike zone.
I would hit a
I
home
think
run
you
on the first
understood
pitch.
his
That's what I
analogy,
would
and you
do.
still chose to be a little arguey.
Yeah, it's because it's fun.
You're very defensive.
What a dumb, stupid young person.
Hey,
Isn't that your favorite song?
Dumb, stupid young person. Yeah,
Yeah.
by what is it? What's that popular hit band?
I don't know. I only know it from 1,000 times in your Jeep.
My Chemical Romance.
Is that...
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know any. I don't know a song called that. Do I listen to a song called that?
young, dumb, fun high school kids?
Young, Dumb, and Broke.
Oh, Young, Dumb, and Broke. That's
Yeah.
like...
Khalid.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I do like this one. So I thought you were being silly, so I just yes-anded.
Oh, no. I was directly
That
talking
is my
about
favorite
the
song.
soundtrack
Tony's a
of
dumb
your
young
James
person.
Jeff.
I'll shut this whole thing down right now.
Listen,
That's a fun song.
No, it was his comment. I don't care.
Oh,
What he
yeah.
said.
Thank you, Tony.
you said you like to argue because it's fun.
With him, not you insulting me. That's different.
I thought you wanted to argue. I was giving you what you
That's
wanted.
not arguing. That's just being me.
How was your weekend, brother?
Good. My ear is all healed, so
Good.
that's the best
Thank
news.
God.
Your ear.
I
had
kinda
a
forgot
killer,
about it.
I had a killer ear infection. I finally
Ooh.
went to the doctor, and then they hooked it up. So it's good stuff.
Aaron Marsh, how's your week, bub? We didn't see it because I was in Denver most of the time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I feel like I just worked. I did a couple open mics.
Nice.
Don't even know how I feel about them still.
I do feel like you've been hitting up more stand-up comedy in the last few weeks.
Yeah, 100%. That's
Is
been
that
a
just
focus
good? And that was
of the last couple months.
a conscious decision. Like I need to do more.
Yeah, I needed to do a lot more.
How often do you get out?
I mean, so my first 5-6 years out here, it was every single night.
Yep.
and now I've pulled back to like 3 or 4 nights a week. And I feel like I may as well do nothing now that I've pulled back to halftime. And so now I'm like, no, I got to get back out every day. And it's driving me nuts.
Do you do multiple sets in a night? Are you able to get around like that?
You know, not really in this city as a
That's
guy
what I was
without
asking,
a car.
yeah.
Like, it's like you got to do 1, sometimes 2. There was a time period where I feel like I was doing 1 or 2 a night, sometimes 3. But I feel like that time period's kind of over because all the mics now are weird lotteries where they're pulling out of buckets, so you got to stay, and then they're not close to each other, and everything costs a certain amount to get in. Because when I first started, everything was free,
They
too.
charge for mics here like they do in
Yes.
New York. They do that in New York a lot.
That was
Don't look
why
at me.
I
Why'd you look at me? I don't know what they
I just
charge
looked
for
over,
mics.
he's like,
That's why I went to halftime. Was because
like
it was
Mr. Famous.
I did 3 mics in one night, or I went to 3 mics, paid $5 at each, and got up 0 times. And that's when I was like, I'm not doing
That's
this every
fucked up.
night.
If you're paying, they should guarantee you a spot.
Yeah,
That's
well,
horseshit.
I didn't, and so you're like, now what?
Yeah.
I don't have the mustard to throw $20 into the wind every night of the week.
Yeah.
All right. That voice you're hearing is my boy Randy Valerio. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude. Good friend. You've probably seen him on my Instagram. You've probably seen him, he's been coming doing spots all over the
Yeah,
country.
I've been riding
with me.
Jeff's coattails pretty regularly.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. It's a guest set, you know, on all the shows, and it's anybody wants a guest set on the shows. If you're gonna meet me in the town, go ahead. I'm good with it. Makes me happy, and you're great. You're doing good.
Thank you.
Growing.
Appreciate that.
Yeah,
It's fun, man. I love it.
yeah. Have you noticed a difference, like in the markets, like how strange
Yeah,
it's been?
for sure.
Yeah, it's
for
weird,
sure.
right?
I mean, there's, the first thing is you get rid of all your regional shit. Like, so I just went that out the window, like
I wish open micers would learn that.
you learn that fast. And then,
Every town has a black or every white town has like a black comedian who's got like 17 minutes about how they're the only black guy.
oh yeah.
It's not gonna work when you start playing other places.
Yeah, for sure. And
Oh,
then,
no, you look at me. This is crazy. Yeah, I am a black guy. You're like, okay. We live in a world where that's not.
We're full of them.
Yes.
Jesus, Tony.
Yeah, that was a weird way to say it.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. The more the merrier.
you really emphasized the full there. It was a little.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The more.
Ben.
The
Sounded
more-
like too many.
Yeah,
The
we're
more
full
the
of
merrier.
Ben.
No. The more the merrier.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Is like if you're a young comedian listening to this or watching this, like, get rid of any kind of crap like that. It's not interesting. Like, unless you're gonna do the bit like, oh, growing up in school, I was the only black guy, and then you can like kind of do some jokes
Yeah.
about that. But if you're trying to suggest to the audience that like it's strange that there's a black person there, it's hacky crap.
I definitely learned too, because we did a bunch of the Southwest and like more conservative areas. Obviously, I live in Boston and I'm from New York, so it's super liberal. I was concerned like, oh, is like some of this shit not going to go over? But they don't give a shit either. I mean, like everyone laughs. Like funny's funny. They don't
Places
really,
I work,
they don't really
especially
care.
like comedy clubs and stuff like that. Like, I think when I do corporates is like slightly different, but that's not real comedy. Corporates, yeah, but like any place like in a comedy club for sure. Yeah. Also, I was gonna say this when you guys were talking about the thing, but I wanted to introduce Randy first. I ran into one of our other friends last night, Mitch Burrow.
Yes, how's he doing?
He is good. He's gonna start working as a door guy at the Comedy Store.
Nice.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Good for him.
and when you said like you used to get up every night, like last night, me and him were talking about how he's like, I've come here every night. I come to the Comedy Store every night, which I thought was an interesting choice.
Yeah, that is an interesting choice, especially for Mitch.
Yeah,
Because I stopped hanging out there. Literally, the guy doesn't work there anymore. The manager was like,
Tommy.
Aaron, stop it. You're not going to get past here. And I was like,
you're kidding. He
Oh,
said
just
that.
flat out told you that?
Yeah.
Like ever?
yeah. And so I was like, all right, cool. And I stopped hanging out.
I would send a bomb to that building. I wouldn't really send a bomb to the building. I would bomb that building. If someone ever told me you're never going to get past here, I would
Yeah,
hold
but then
that.
you got a
What if
whole
I get
new
better?
guy.
Like-
And then I was like, oh, maybe. And I went like twice. And then I was like, oh, no, wait. He's looking at really young guys and famous people. That's it.
I don't even think young guys. Like the young guys that he's working
Yeah.
are only getting work because some other person has said he's the next young guy. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I also was like, I'm neither of those windows.
Right.
Well, that's
And-
not good news for me. I started old in this shit.
Hey, just say you're 22 and you look 45 and make.
A lot of that stuff matters. Like, the greatest example is like Ron White started old, Louis
totally.
Black started old.
But also hearing that Mitch is going to
and
become a door
much
guy
older than you.
opens that window in my mind. You're like, oh no, look, because Mitch isn't either of those things that I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I can't get through this window. But he is just a funny fucking dude
Yeah.
who just
and he's
crushing
also
all the time.
different than other comedians.
100%.
So it's very hard to find a heavy set, like redneck Southern kind of guy who can make liberal crowds cry with laughter. Like he's very, very funny.
Yeah, while talking about being conservative. Like he's great. And they're going to give him those 5-minute bits in the front, which is going to let all those headliners see him. He's going to get work out of this.
Yeah, he's going to do fine.
Yeah, I'm really happy. That's a great thing.
Yeah, it's tough to be
But it gives me
what
hope,
he
too.
is and still crush in audiences, and he does great. But yeah, so I saw him.
Yeah, that's
what I was
great.
going to say.
It makes
wanna-
me feel happy.
Do you want to start doing theaters at some point?
I have a plan
I feel like you
for that.
enjoy the clubs. Like
Yeah.
you enjoy being in the
I have
club.
a plan for that, but I don't want to say it on here because I don't want anyone to steal my idea.
Okay.
But I got a whole plan ahead. Although I am doing a theater, December 7th, I'm opening for Nate Bargatze.
Ah,
Yeah,
What
crazy,
city?
right? Phoenix, Arizona. But it's like a
Nice.
2,600 seat giant theater thing, which is funny because when I texted Nate, I said, dude, I just got this booking to open for you. I'm so excited. He goes, you're not opening for me. It just means I'm going last. And I was like, nah, I read the contract.
Yeah. You're doing
You're
this
being
one.
modest. You're killing it right now. I'm not too proud to open for a friend. You're very funny. And
I love Phoenix. You know, I fell in love with it as soon as I got this. That place is
it's the
awesome.
best city. Well, I will tell him, or just I love Arizona in general. What I would like to do, what I should have texted him was, no, I'm pretty sure I'm opening. Send me how much you're making,
Exactly.
and I'll shoot you how much I'm making, and then we'll decide if I'm opening for you or just going first. I think there's music too. It's like a big radio kind of like.
Was that for the same radio station that came that you did the?
I wonder if that's how I got it because I had fun with
that
those
woman,
boys.
the host, she was really
Different radio.
okay.
I'm talking about those boys. You know those,
Oh yeah,
those
those
crazy
two,
guys.
oh my god, that was so much fun.
There's a group of guys, and actually we should look that up so we can give them a shout out on here. But it's a radio station in Arizona.
It's the biggest rock.
The fact that the things they say on that show that they're getting away with is phenomenal.
They went far. I was shocked. I was sitting on the couch just listening. I was like, what?
It was Howard Stern.
KSLX
What are the guys' names?
100.7 KUPD KDKB. You don't know?
I don't know. It's a different acronym in every city, and I do like 6 stations.
All right, yeah, I'm not
Sorry.
I'll find it.
I thought they
unless
were
you know
like
the names.
they're like rock dudes. They're really great.
I know those were all the rock
KUPD is
stations.
the
they
rock
were.
one.
Yeah, those were all the rock stations in Phoenix. So.
Oh,
I'll look it up. But anyways, so he it's at iHeartRadio.
nice.
I know that. But
That's a
anyways,
network.
they would just say anything. They were literally being like, some would say misogynistic and racial and like very graphic about sex.
Was it on the
incest
internet or
jokes.
was it like
No, it's so just
the
a
radio
syndicate. Yeah,
waves?
just it was insane. And then I would like say something that I was like, I would have never normally said this, and it would get a huge laugh. And then they weren't worried about it or anything. They didn't dump it. It was insane.
That's incredible.
It was awesome. And they're really cool guys.
That's
And
got to be exactly why you got that gig though.
and they also, but I've been coming on their show as a guest every time I've ever done Arizona. So that's probably this. They're like, yeah, let's get Di in here. He was
Yeah,
fun.
totally. I want to hang.
Yeah, and also he loves Terry Bradshaw. So we've called Terry almost every time I've been in there, and so he loves that.
Of course.
Yeah, but he would tell some crazy.
I know.
You remember that? We left going, I might get fired. This is insane.
On air, Jeff says to them, "Is like, oh, I'm traveling with my buddy Randy." Like, oh, what's his deal? He's like, oh, he's a perfect combination of sweetheart and scumbag. And I'm
Yeah.
like, Jeff, my mom might listen to this shit. Like,
Is she in Phoenix?
no, but she follows what I'm up to.
Yeah.
Google
So
it.
she,
Yeah. Well, what was it? Do you remember what he was joking about that I couldn't figure out?
oh, he was joking about like, I mean, he was like touching on like women's issues and shit. Like he was going out there, like not women's issues, but like dating and.
I can't remember. He was. There was something that I was just like, I can't even believe we're doing this right
Yeah,
now.
they were like something like pretty sexual on the radio, like going deep into it.
Yeah, it was weird. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Anyways, they're good guys, so I'll be doing that. If you want to come with me, it's in Arizona. It's got freaking. You'll see Nate. You get to watch more Nate.
Oh, I can't get enough Nate.
I already
Never.
invited myself to it. I was like, oh, that's just giving me a reason to fly out there. I just want to
Dude.
go back.
Arizona's the best. I was in Denver this weekend.
How's that?
Freaking amazing. That's a great city. That's like I think
Went
one
to a
of.
football game.
Yeah, I went to the Broncos game. I went to a concert on Thursday. The Dead South. Big shout out. Thanks for the tickets, boys. It was super fun. While I was there, which I want to be our first subject that we talk about. You know how I get real into things. I get like real obsessed with stuff, and I just can't drop it. Like I'll watch like
I've
100.
noticed.
I'll listen to 100 episodes of like Sasquatch Chronicles, and then that's all I want to talk about is like Bigfoot for the next like 4 months. Well, there was a time, probably like 8 years ago, where I was obsessed with these two girls on the internet. I'll tell you which girls in a second. I was obsessed with them. I would watch all this different stuff. I would be like all into. I was like, I couldn't stop talking about. My friends were like, stop it. Like we don't want to talk about this anymore. And then I kind of, it's been years, and then a video popped up on YouTube, probably like knowing my history and stuff, and then going like, you might want to watch this. And I was like, I forgot about these girls. This is so great. And I got like all up to it. I got right back down in the rabbit hole of it. And they're conjoined twins, right? These girls.
Oh no.
But they have one body and two heads, right? And it's split right down the middle. So they got this head works this arm and this leg, and this head works this arm and this leg, and it is phenomenal.
Wait, can they
That's
swim?
crazy.
That's a great question. I don't know.
Well, the first thing I asked Jeff is how do they walk if they control each other? Like somehow they're able to like
sync.
Synergy.
sync up the
Perfectly.
walking part
Yeah.
and the eating and shit. But
They're just silently counting all the time, like 1 and 2 and 3. And
Do you think they'd have to, or like one time, like one girl will be like, let's say they're putting something in a bag. It's exactly the way we would do it. They didn't have to be like, you hold the top and I'll reach in. They just
They got used to
it's
it.
insane.
And I think like you look at twins, just like two twins
Yeah.
have this weird connection.
Mind
meld.
Imagine being in the same body.
Well, and they're
They're
always
probably like really connected.
they remind me of Sister Wives. You know how Sister Wives, you ever seen that show?
oh yeah.
I did a
They're all-
spoof of it.
Their whole they did? You did?
No, I did. Remember, Brother Husbands.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, anyways.
so the Sister Wives are always exhaustingly try to convince everyone they're normal.
Right.
You're like, we're just like every other family. We just have a lot of wives. You're like, stop it. You're not like anyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's their whole like agenda. Every episode, people think, what do we do? It's like, well, I mean, you eat dinner, we eat dinner. It's like, that's not the point. Like
Yeah,
you
we're talking about multiple marriages to this
Yes.
to one guy. Like,
Who's banging the husband on what night? You're all
how do
jealous
you
of each
sort
other.
that
You
out?
know you're jealous of each
Yeah.
other. So these girls kind of do something similar. They were like, we're totally different, but it's just a head on like two heads on a shoulder. And the one's like she likes more girly things like pink and stuff, and I hate pink. You're like, oh, come
Doesn't
on.
matter.
What are you
Hairband.
talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
You're both wearing a pink shirt right now, so I think the one on the left won. You know?
What if only
Oh,
one of them got a
jeez.
Disneyland annual pass and the other one like hates Disneyland? Like, I'm not buying it, but
well,
like
that's what I
they
said.
gotta
What
let
if
them
you
in.
get into an argument? Can the other one punch the other one in
No,
the
let's
face?
not
Like-
jump ahead.
Yeah.
What you just said is a great question, because there is situations where they will take advantage of it. You know,
of course.
they'll be like, well, no, we're just one. Why should we have to get 2 tickets? And they're like, all right, fuck it, go in. You know? Like, all day in the documentary, they're like, we're so different. We have. You're like, well,
Except when the bill comes.
they drive. They learned. They drive a car at like age 16.
That seems so dangerous.
Well,
Right?
the mom was like, well, I think they have 4 set of eyes instead of 2, so I think that.
So one can text and the other one can drive?
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, the daddy was like, I'm never nervous with these girls because they're just great and they don't have like many problems other than people like looking at them and stuff like that. They're pretty able. He goes, this is the only time I was nervous because they never stop talking to each other. They're always yapping away. They're going to distract each other while they're driving. He goes, this is the only time I was like nervous. And I was like, what a cool way to look at that. Like, he was like, no, it's not that. It's just that he was very realistic about it. But the reason I think that's interesting that they're driving is because what if they're 2 driver's license, which there is 2 driver's license, and one gets a DUI, right? And then the other one's like,
Only
well,
points
hey,
on hers.
I have no DUIs. Like, I can drive. And then let's say she gets DUI and then she gets DUI. And then like, hey, you need to take this DUI because I've already got 2. Like,
Yeah, what if, does the cop have to charge them both?
Yeah,
'Cause
only one of
theoretically,
them
they'd both
goes
be
to jail?
drunk behind
Yeah.
the wheel.
oh, yeah, that is
You know,
true.
like,
It'd be both
they
of
share
their...
blood.
I was gonna ask, does the beer hit them equally?
That is,
Yeah,
'cause they
it
only have
does.
one body.
Because they have one stomach too.
Yeah.
So you're 100% right on that. Bad example on my part. But what about this? Let's say one of them kills somebody.
Yeah, and then they want to spend in jail with it.
Yeah, it was her arm. I didn't shoot him.
Yeah. You're an accomplice.
Yeah, they gotta hold the gun like this, you know. What the best part in the documentary? This is my
Oh,
favorite
I love
thing
this
ever.
thing.
Also, very inappropriate of the interviewer. They're 28 now, but in the first documentary that I've ever saw about them, they were only like 16. They were like in 8th grade.
Yeah.
Is that 8th grade, 16?
No.
No, it's like 10th
8th
grade.
grade is 10th grade. 10th, 11th, depending.
What grade would you be?
8th grade is you're 13, 14.
Yeah.
Weird. So they're in the same
Did you
documentary.
get left back, Jeff? Is that where you're
No,
confused?
they were talking about we're regular 8th graders, but then they're like taking
14.
drive tests and stuff.
Well,
like
yeah,
that.
you can do it at 15.
You have permits and
You
shit.
get your learner's permit
Oh,
at 15.
Well, then they're
yeah.
in 8th grade. And there's a part where the guy says, very inappropriately, he's trying to be professional, but it's a creepy question. He's like, have you guys thought about when you get older and you guys are married or you have partners, how you will have sex with your partner? And the girls, without missing a beat, at the same time in unison go, that's private.
Oh my god!
Just
Just
a
self high
self-high-five. And like they were just prepared. I'm sure their parents told them like if they ask you anything that's whatever,
Just
you
tell
just
them
say
it's
it's
private. Self high five.
But this is the best part. At the end of the documentary, the old one, not the new one. They're like, so do you guys have boyfriends? Because they're like gay, they're like boy crazy, like like any girl at that age. And she goes, Abby has a boyfriend. She goes, yeah, I have a boyfriend, and she's single. How does that work?
I know. Do they have 2 vaginas?
No one.
No, it's one.
So one of
body.
them's getting some free pipe.
Yeah, well, that free.
And then she gets mad at the guy, like, you're cheating on me with my sister. No, I thought it was.
Yeah, exactly. Like I saw you looking at her. Like, do they put like a little sheet over her head or something? Like, how does it work?
A little shit.
Like,
Cover
don't
her head with
look.
a handkerchief.
Yeah.
Like a fucking lamp
Like, have you
shade.
seen that?
no
Have you
sense.
seen that Matt Damon and
Like a
Greg
parrot in a cage. You just sort
Or
of.
like when they're having sex, the one that's supposed to be not paying attention because she's single is just like moaning. Like we heard that.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
goes, single.
What's another thing too is the weird thing about it is like, what if they're both, because they're young, like they're 28 now, but like, what if like one of them they're both asleep and then one like is like can't sleep or whatever, and then she just decides to like masturbate or something like that. Girl's gonna feel like that
get a
girl's just
free
gonna
orgasm.
wake up going,
That's so
Yeah, I was gonna ask
weird.
if they get tired at the same time.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, can one just take a nap while the other one's cooking? Like how does it work?
Or better yet, one of them gets married, the other one hates the in-laws, so they're just fucking always dragging around again.
Oh,
Yeah,
it'd be the
clearly they both
best.
have to just date one person.
That's what I said.
yeah.
But they want to be individuals, Aaron.
So badly
But they have
that they're
different
willing
tastes.
to make
Yeah.
it so complicated. Well, another thing I thought
Wait,
too.
are they American?
Yeah, which I thought they were from Minneapolis because they were kept wearing all these clothes.
just like the Vikings?
of the Minnesota Twins.
Okay.
And then
Oh
I
my
was like, I
God.
think they're from Minneapolis because they always have all these Twins crap on. And Brant was like, Jeff, that's because they probably thought it's hilarious to wear like Twins crap. And I was like, I didn't even put that together.
It was like a fucking carnival show.
Yeah.
They do that.
Opposite of hilarious.
Yeah, I know, but they're kids, and
That's
their parents
true.
are regular nerds
But I'm
from
asking
the
because you
Midwest.
got to give them tickets and get them to a show.
No, I followed him on Twitter, hoping to get him on this podcast.
Oh my God.
that'd be a great episode.
It would be my most
Here's the big
favorite.
question.
We will
One mic or
answer
2?
all those sex questions.
Oh, 2 mics for sure.
Yeah, Aaron.
I'll buy a new mic just to get these gals in here.
One
we
chair.
should have a hand mic for like when people, when more people want to.
Well,
Oh, for that.
we only got 4 slots here anyway, so
That's right.
They only
we
got
need
one.
another one of these
Yeah,
too.
we can figure that out. But no, because the best question out of all, I was texting about this to Rebecca, WWE superstar Rebecca Quinn, and we're going back and forth, just for people with some context. And we're going back and forth about these conjoined twins. I can't stop talking about it. Right, really in the wormhole.
Yeah.
She popped for sure. She was like obsessed with it, and like she couldn't shut up about it. Kept asking me questions. Like I don't know. That's a great question. The best question she had was, "What if both of them are very hungry, right? And one wants pizza, and the other one wants sushi because they are so different. That like one of them's waiting for their sushi, but the other one gobbles up the pizza mad quick,
And then now they're full.
and then now they're full, and she's like." I didn't even get to eat my sushi. Like I'm still waiting for my. Like,
I'm sure they regulate
That's
it.
when they take the right hand and punch the
Regulate.
left face.
Yeah.
yeah.
I would
They
get
gotta be
good money
so
to see them fist
cautious
fight
with
each
eating.
other.
If they're sharing a stomach, that must be a problem from meals from the very beginning.
Right.
Like you can't give them 2 bowls of
Portion
cereal and watch
control.
them gobble it down. I overeat that too fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they switch off on who gets to eat.
What if one of them smokes weed and the other one doesn't, and the
They
other
just
one's
get
like,
blasted.
I have never smoked weed, but I get high every night.
Yeah. Oh, I would love if one of them was super Christian and just shamed the other one all the time.
Yeah, one's liberal,
I'm a
one's
virgin.
conservative. It's like, oh, no.
Hardly.
Yeah. No, you're just a whore. I
Yeah.
share a whore's vagina.
I'm saving myself for marriage, and then I was like, I'm not. You're like,
Oh God, here we go again.
There's so many things.
Is that rape? That's the
Yeah.
question. Like, is
you
is
blowing
one
my
of them getting
boyfriend?
raped? Like,
Oh no.
right?
It's taking a dark turn.
No, that's a reasonable
It
question.
is, but it's taking a
It
dark
really
turn.
blurs the line of consent.
Yeah, they both have to consent to one of them having
Everything
sex.
they do is hashtag me too.
I would pay good money. I'd pay him $50 million to just sit in like a market square and then just make out with each other. Just have hidden cameras and have all these people just like, people wouldn't know how to handle
You'd
it.
pay $50 million for that?
Yeah, well, that's the, you
Oh,
know
you
what?
get
I'll tell you
$100 million
what.
film it. I mean, like, it's worth
Tony,
it. It's
I'll
a
tell you
profitable
what.
enterprise.
Yeah, oh yeah, because we're gonna make that money back for sure. But also, I wouldn't feel comfortable having them do that unless they were like, this is crazy money. We're not turning this down. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
no, sure.
I think it takes $50 million to get a sisters
Yeah,
to
let's
make
say we
out
get
with
3
you.
beers in them, and they're like, "We'll do it for $50."
Get some beers in them. That's a me too. You just
I know, right?
How about to make them make out with each other? No
like
one's
trying
getting
to lowball
victimized.
them. Like, just give them some beers. Jeff, don't spend all this fake fictional money. That
Yeah, absolutely. Fake fictional beers. They
don't
answer these.
hypothetically give them.
How many times a day do you think they accidentally like bonk heads?
Oh gosh, all the time. You should see them brushing their hair. One girl's just going wild with it, and
Wait,
the
can
other
they
one's
ride
like
roller
getting hit in the
coasters?
face.
None of
and
the
shit.
safety stuff would work.
They do ride all that stuff. They do all that stuff because their body is pretty normal. Or like normal sized.
But if you have 2 heads, and like let's say it's one of those things where it goes over your head and holds you down
Oh
by your
yeah, I
shoulders.
didn't even think about that.
We usually just start a GoFundMe and get some first class tickets to get them out here. So we need to
I
answer,
will- I will-
answer these
hey,
questions.
listen,
We
if
need
they
answering.
somehow hear this or anyone knows these girls, I will fly them first class to come do this podcast. It'll be the first time I'm literally like, I'm putting out the offer.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know
they
if
also
this-
like to do a TV show pitch with
I
Jeff.
don't know if this sounds insensitive or not, and if it does,
Oh,
I apologize.
I like this.
No, these are
Where's
playful
this
questions.
headed?
We're not going crazy until
I
you
just
until you
don't
say
know
this.
if I would be able to handle being here in front of the.
You have to get your composure.
It would
Why?
be hard. Because that's just something you don't see every day. And I don't know if I'd just be cool, like be able to just be cool with it like a normal guest.
You would chill out after 5 or 10 minutes.
I
I'm
don't
like, oh,
know,
I'm just
man.
talking
That's
to 2
something-
ladies.
I've never seen that in my life.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. You want to see it, right?
And know that they're
don't
probably
know.
also used to that. They're
I've
probably,
never
I'm sure
seen
they're-
Randy until today, and look at this. You
Yeah,
guys are
right?
talking just fine.
He just have another head going out of his
Second
shoulder.
fucking head going-
Pull your brother out, Randy.
I'm trying to find their names.
Oh man,
here they are.
it'd be so shocking.
Abby and Brittany Hensel.
It'd be so shocking. And what if I fall in
Abby,
love with them?
Brittany,
That's another question.
please,
What
please.
if I
I feel like,
fall
why are
in
you
love
saying their
with-
names
They're
if you
around
can't
my
Google them?
age. What if I fall in love
Yeah,
with
they're
them?
born in 1990.
I'm 91.
You can only fall in
yeah.
love with one, bro. Don't be gross.
Also, Tony.
Sophie's choice. I can't decide.
Tony went from I can't even be in the same room as these freaks
having the sex with
to like, what if I fall in love with them? It's like, what a leap.
I love how it's them, not just one of them.
Yeah.
because you want the package deal.
I think it's one. I think that's one
I don't know.
human.
It depends.
I
I'd have
don't
to
like
get to know
this
them both.
double. Oh, we're different. It's
There's 2
frustrating.
heads. There's 2 personalities.
It's tough.
Two brains.
I think in certain states, I think every state differs, but like to be dead, you have to be brain dead.
Are they 2 votes
So
or
if
1 vote?
if one of them blows their head off and the other one's alive, it's
It
still
wouldn't.
one person.
Oh, that's a dream scenario. Just
don't
a
know.
dead head right next to him.
I just think the way their body. Jesus. I think the way
Head.
I think the way their body works. If one goes down, I'm sure the other
Yeah,
one's
I would
going
Well,
imagine.
they have one heart but 2 brains. So the heart can see, like I guess if you severed one of the heads, God forbid, right? But like you severed the head, like if one of them died, like
She
the
does
head
CPR
died.
on herself.
This is the kind of question I want to ask them in a more sensitive way,
Yeah.
for sure. But
What
I
would
would love
biggest
to.
mistake of your life
With
would
a
be bringing
doctor in
them
the
here?
room, with a medical
Do you
professional
really
in the room.
think us could be sensitive with them here?
Because
Yes,
we're gonna,
yes.
you know, they
Do
know
not
we're gonna
think so.
like.
Dude, I cry in Pixar movies, bro. I'm sensitive as fuck.
I think
I
that
don't know.
they
You
have,
also do monkeys eating
It'll help
ass
if I won't
memes
be here.
on
I'll tell you
Instagram.
what I assume that they're a lot like the way Aaron is. Like we were actually complimenting you all weekend about how like you're the least short man complex guy that's short. Like you're like, I know what I am. I'm
I got
proud.
a
Yeah, I'm
pretty
like,
decent idea of
and
it.
we're always like, we love that Aaron's not weird about it, or he's never like has these like flare ups of like frustration.
You've very cautiously been weird about it a couple times. Where you're like, hey, I know
About you
you're
being short?
and you're like, stop it. I know I'm
I know,
short.
but I'm just so used to being.
Oh, you were weird about him being short?
No, like, not trying to like
he
bring
was
it up.
trying to,
Oh.
he was trying to be really polite about it. But you're like, no, let's just talk about the facts.
Yeah. Well, I think that's how these girls would be. They'd be like, dude, we've been asked these questions by our friends and
Let's
stuff.
do it, baby.
Yeah,
Let's send
that's
out
the
the
thing, Tony.
invite.
That's the thing, Tony. You forget they went through Elementary school, middle school, and high school. I'm
true.
sure anything that those kids said to those girls is fucking
That's true.
way more
And
horrible than anything you can think
and
of.
I wouldn't be outwardly rude.
Yeah.
I would just be like, I'd
No,
probably
we're
be
just all
quiet the
fascinated.
entire
This
time.
is a very unique
I'd
scenario.
probably just be really quiet. I'd probably just be looking at Jeff the whole time.
Yeah.
They should find
Yeah, don't look at me.
Respectfully.
Don't look at me.
Yeah,
They should find a
'cause-
conjoined conjoined male twins and hook up with them. That's probably the best scenario for the two of them.
Man, is there?
why? No, these are the most famous girls. I mean, these girls are.
Just the dude that's like swinger, but like he's like, I just want one body. I just want different personalities.
One body, two mouths.
Yeah, but they don't want that.
But
They
also,
want their
I don't
own.
like the idea,
That's
and this
true.
is a thing that I think
They wanna
happens a
feel
lot.
special.
Is like, oh, because it's different, that means we shouldn't have a sense of humor about it.
Sure.
Like, I imagine they would love that. Like, we're being silly or asking about like nachos and sushi or pizzas, those kind of things.
hopefully.
I think some of the sex stuff, they'd have a right to get upset with us about. But
Yeah.
Well, it's like asking anybody about their sexual life. It's like, all right, maybe I don't want to talk about that.
Right.
But I mean,
Sure.
obviously,
Or
they have
maybe
a sense
they'd
of
be
humor
cool
about it.
about
They
that,
fucking
too.
self-high-five themselves.
That's awesome.
Clearly, they got a sense of humor.
Yeah, they're 28
Hopefully.
now. They can talk
Hopefully.
about this stuff openly.
Yeah.
Wait, since they only really like are unique to each other from the neck up, are they super into necklaces and headbands and face jewelry and
they
stuff?
always have different hair, which I find fascinating. Like one will cut her hair like different, some sort of identity. Like,
One's got a face tattoo, the
They
other one
have,
doesn't.
you said they have the same. They run
Righty,
one
lefty?
Twitter account.
well, I don't even know if it's
They
theirs.
better not have.
Could you imagine how busy those two hands are if they got 2 Twitter accounts, 2 Instagram accounts, 2 they
I
would just,
can't find them
Oh, dude, what
because
if they have selfies, but they always crop out their sister?
I have a great picture of them
Oh,
doing
this
selfies.
chick looks hot. And then you see
Yeah,
the other
exactly.
selfie.
Feeling
Like,
good.
this looks
Is,
like a
is there
very
an angle
similar.
where they look normal? Do they
There's them
have that?
swimming.
You show me these pictures
Oh, they look
before. I know
normal,
these
yeah.
girls. Yeah.
Yeah, they're famous.
We need to send the invite.
Here's
Yeah.
them going snowboarding.
Are they verified on Twitter? That should be the very
in
first
fact,
person
their
verified on
Twitter
Twitter.
is very private. It's almost. It might not
Oh,
even
yeah?
be them.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's why I'm thinking they probably wouldn't want to just come on because they don't want to be a.
No, you're forgetting that they want to meet Jeff.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's pending,
That's the thing. Like,
and it says that it's they have 146 followers. They're following 188 people.
46. That is definitely friends only.
Yeah, so that's the thing. They might, they're tired of being famous.
what if one of them wanted to sort of capitalize
Do
on
they
that
have
fame and
jobs?
get in the show business? And the other one's like, no, I just want to be like an accountant. Can we not do that? Like, how do they decide what fucking
Right.
career they go into?
It's just another thing, man. But that's the thing is like they post that like there's always something about them. Like they got this huge job that like 175 people applied for to be like a teacher's assistant.
And they hired 2 of them?
and they got the job. Listen to this guy. The guy
They
hired
get 2
him.
salaries or 1?
The guy that hired him is great because he's like, no, I think this is good for the students to see people that are different, to
Yeah,
see stuff
sure.
like that, and like that they're humans that are normal and whatever. But also, I think he did it like for that reason, very selfishly. He's getting, he looks like a hero, right? The whole news went down to
Yeah.
his school and
Little
was like,
white
look
knighting.
what they hired. They hired these girls,
What?
and then look who they hired. Like they
Yeah,
picked these
thank you.
girls, and then also that he's getting two people to work for the one price.
For price of 1, yeah.
They have separate contracts, but they're splitting the pay. I was like, that's one contract.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That
bullshit.
doesn't seem right.
It's probably helpful in school, though, when they're in, like,
Do they live
like for
separately or
exams.
Do you
apart?
only have to buy them one plane ticket to
That's
get
my
them here?
favorite
What was that?
question.
Sorry,
Our
what was that?
opening question should be, do you guys live together?
Do you only have to buy them one plane ticket to get them here?
Yeah. Right? It always goes back and forth. It's always like sometimes when it's their advantage to be one.
Yeah,
I will
whatever's
tell you,
their advantage.
The only thing I don't like about them is they would end questions, and in their defense, this is when they were younger, but they would end things. They would be like, oh, so if I get a stomach ache, it's on that side. Like things are reversed in our bodies. So like when I get, like if I eat something really weird, she'll get a stomach ache. Or if she was to eat, like get drunk or something, like I would get a tummy ache over here. And then they go, isn't that weird?
Your
And
whole
they would do
situation is a
it.
little...
That's what was
Exactly.
annoying me.
Yeah,
Is they
that's the weird part.
They finished 75 questions in a row in that documentary going, isn't that weird?
Yeah, I think 2 heads is
She
weird.
loves pink and I don't. Isn't that weird? It's like, stop saying, isn't that weird? It's all weird. That's why we're watching the movie. Because we want to learn these things about you. We want it to not
They
seem
need a
strange.
podcast.
Stop saying, isn't that weird?
So strange. I feel like it would be helpful in school though, or with a job like you just division of labor, right? Like I'll study in English and
Oh, yeah, they
history. You do
cheat the
math
whole
and science,
time.
and
Of
like we
course.
got this. You know.
You know, they have to do separate tests.
In
Yeah,
some
I'm
classes, they have one test, and in other classes, they have two. So if it's like math,
PE 1 grade.
yeah, I think,
That's very true.
Yeah.
well, I think it's like mathematics and stuff. Like it's one test, but anytime it's like an opinion-based thing or like an
that
essay,
makes sense.
they each have to do one. So it goes based on subject.
As if they don't have each other for reference later.
Well, that's the thing. Is like think about math. Like they're gonna be cheating anyways. So
Yeah.
why make them take?
Yeah, it's
Two.
how would you ever catch them cheating?
Right.
You know?
So just make it one test, grade that.
Yeah,
That's
that
both
makes
of them.
sense.
But if it's like someone's opinion, it's not fair to have just Abby writing it. And
Yeah.
then she's like, well, so like, let's just do separate papers.
But you need the body, so one of them has to like take up the other one's time to write their paper again. You know, like
No, so they
separate
show them
hands.
sitting at a desk and they're both writing, which is crazy because then
That's
you're
cool.
watching them independently
Yeah.
think, and then they get back to like synced up when they're doing it's crazy.
That's perfect for the teachers.
I'm telling you, man, I love this stuff.
that might be the perfect podcast guest. It's a 2
I
for
think-
1
yeah,
right
it's
off the
the
top,
best.
right off the rip.
It's a great deal. Well, they do show one. Like one of the girls is more reserved and quiet, and the other one's like just roasting the teacher. Like she's like heckling him and stuff. She's like, "I think you're getting old and senile," and the whole class laughs. And then the other girl's just like shy, like drawing a scribble or something. You know?
Because she has to go to detention too.
Yeah. Well, there's no detention. They're national treasures, Tony.
Yeah.
I love things like
clearly,
that.
we've been talking about it for a half hour.
I want them on.
Yeah, let's do it.
The
Someone,
Brittany.
someone
Now,
out
we're
there
talking
make it
about
happen.
how pot or like fucking beer gets one of them wasted, but would cocaine only get one of them wired?
Yeah, because I guess if there's only one fucking
Yeah.
head, it's just 2 heads, right?
Yeah, totally.
Well, I said alcohol.
Yeah.
They didn't.
I think because they share. Well, I guess in your bloodstream, so you would get high.
Oh no,
But I mean, only one of them could be snorting. Like, unless both of them do, and then it's like 4.
Nah, dude, they
which
can
is-
both party.
I think they're probably one of those. What are those people that don't drink and they think they're so great because they
Mormon?
don't drink? Tony.
Oh yeah,
It
yeah.
could be
yeah.
like Tony.
Oh, dude, you're gonna fall in love with them. That's gonna
what
be
I
so
was afraid
cool.
Oh, you think you're better than people because you don't drink?
No, not at all.
of.
I don't think that at all.
Oh,
He
that'd
likes
be
to
I'm
great
joking.
if we met them and then like at the end they're like, so Tony, if we could like get your number, and
was
you're
the-
like, mother, I would love.
Would
to
that
give
count
you
as a
my
threesome?
No.
Only if they're both
Says
arguing.
you, dude.
So, yeah, two
It's not
sisters,
what it's not what I tell
two
my
chicks
friends.
at the same time,
That's
man.
all that matters.
Yeah, you did go from such like the sweetest fear to the most offensive
Yeah.
fear.
What if I offend them?
Why is it
but I want to
offensive?
bone them. It's like, all right, easy,
See,
Tony.
but I didn't even say that. I said,
What if I
fall in
love
love?
them?
What if I fall
yeah,
in
that's
love with
so
them?
sweet.
Yeah.
And the other one's like, I couldn't even be here for that. I couldn't be in the same room as those
Oh, it's
things.
just, it's shocking.
Yeah.
It's shocking. You know
It's
what I
so
mean?
crazy.
Who would be a guest you wouldn't want to be in the same room with?
Oh, I don't think there'd be anybody I wouldn't want to be in the same room with. Because even people that I don't like,
Charlie Manson.
no, I'd be fine with
Oh,
that.
he would love to talk to Charlie.
Yeah,
Manson.
I'd be really into Charlie Manson. No, but even people that I don't like, and I think
Yeah.
you know some of those names, I'm always hoping that we can get along
No, exactly.
and be friends.
That's why I asked.
Like,
'Cause I was thinking maybe
yeah.
something political or something.
No, I think I would talk to pretty much.
Like the dude that got rid of the Sonics.
Oh no,
I'd love to have him in this room.
and just grill him. Yeah,
Yeah, I'd
but I wouldn't
fucking
be
give it
mad
to
at
him.
him. Yeah,
Oh, I'd be
Jesus,
mad at him.
guys.
I would. I'd like
What
to
if
hear
you
his
fall in
excuse.
love with him, Tony?
Oh, is the guy that's
No
the,
love lost there.
Who's the owner of the Thunder?
Clay, Bennett. He's a
Wasn't it-
millionaire from Oklahoma.
But wasn't there a different guy before that?
Howard
Howard Schultz sold it to Clay Bennett. That's why they went to Oklahoma.
Okay.
But even Clay Bennett was pretty honest from the beginning, like, "Oh, I want a basketball team in Oklahoma," and then they were like,
That's the problem, though. He wasn't.
"Well, no, you're thinking of a different year than what I'm thinking of.
Oh.
He's always wanted an NBA team in Oklahoma City.
Sure.
So when he was bidding for the Sonics,
We were like, no.
he was pretty honest about like, yeah, I'd love to have a franchise here. And then Howard Schultz was like, if we're gonna do this, what's the mayor's name at the time? Nichols or Phil
yeah.
Mills, something like that.
Nichols.
He was saying, hey, if you're gonna sell to that guy, you got to know this is one, Seattle's not gonna be happy about this. There's gonna be some fights and stuff, and then also you're gonna have to maybe even pretend that you're not moving the team. And Clay Bennett was like, well. And they're like, don't worry, it'll happen, but you need to like kind of play the
You
politics.
could, a lot of times they write that into contracts
Yeah.
too. Like, oh, you have to have attendance records to a certain level, or else you can't move. And
Yeah,
it's all such a
it's
show.
kind of a long, boring story unless you really like sports. But the Seattle Pilots were an expansion team that came to Seattle, and then in a few years,
One
just
year.
Oh, and 1 year just left for Minnesota. So they wrote it in our like laws, like that a major league team can't leave
Yeah, now they
unless
sound
there's all
leases.
these
Wait, so
like
the Twins
caveats.
started out
Yeah.
with the Pilots?
Yeah,
I thought the Pilots became the Mariners.
no.
Nope.
So the Pilots went to Minnesota, Seattle.
Milwaukee.
Oh, it was the Brewers?
I think it was Milwaukee.
I was getting mixed up because Paul Molitor. He played for the
right.
Twins and it was the
Yeah, okay.
Brewers. So,
because it was Bud Selig.
what you know? What's funny is if
There was Bud Selig?
Yeah.
What a prick.
if the Brewers win the World Series, we could just wear Pilots jerseys and be like, we did it.
Yeah.
So when that happened, and that's, like I said, this is the boring part of this, so I apologize, but I'll try to make it sound interesting, is that because that the Seattle and Washington was like, this is heartbreaking. Like we got like a thing, we got this kingdom, we were like excited or whatever, like, and then they just leave after a year. We're gonna make it a law that if we get a team in Seattle, like they can't just do this again to us. With some very specific restrictions, like so,
Yeah.
unless there's this. So that's why you can prove that if the team is bankrupting you, you can leave, and that was one of the big things,
Just show
which
losses.
is why they drafted Mohamed Sene and Robert Swift and all these bad basketball players.
To just dump the teams and
So
get
that
out of
the
there.
team's bad, yeah.
It was like Major League, dude.
Yeah.
So then all the fans who are famously kind of fair weather in Seattle were like, Sonics suck, because we didn't get wind of them leaving. We're just like, I'm not going to go watch a bunch of white guys. Like one of our most famous players is like a red-haired kid who like barely played college. Like
Yeah.
it's awful. And so then that's when it happened. They did all the paperwork to be like, look, the team is bankrupting, they stink, whatever. Then they drafted Kevin Durant because it would have been too obvious to not draft Kevin Durant when it was Greg Oden and
Yeah.
Durant were the main two top guys. So anyways, that's how it happened.
That's another big thing that people don't realize that these like team owners are just screwing taxpayers. So most of these stadiums, like all these new big stadiums, are all financed by public money,
Right. That's why
by
they
tax
left
money.
also.
So they basically the people who like live in Dallas paid for that stadium. Jerry Jones didn't pay a fucking nickel for
Right.
that thing.
Yeah, of course.
But he gets all of the profit from the team. None of the money goes to the city.
Right.
Well, that's why
It's a scam of epic proportion. And then
Well,
they leave. It's
and
like,
so
what the
they
fuck?
threatened
So we're
the
stuck
city.
with a stadium with no team, with all this debt for
Yeah,
building a
ton
$2
of
billion
bills.
stadium, and you just fucking took off.
Well,
Like, this is horseshit.
they threatened to say like, well, we're leaving because you guys wouldn't build us a new stadium and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. And all the taxpayers are like, you have a great stadium to play basketball. The Key Arena is like
Yeah.
a very, it's
just
not
have
the
a-
best in the world, but it's great.
You also have a billionaire owner to buy his own stadium.
Absolutely,
Like,
but the basketball teams are famous for being like, no, all other
Oh, yeah, they hold them up.
cities pay for it, so we'll just leave. And I think that they called our bluff, and a lot of taxpayers. There was like a what is it? The board of there was like a thing called the people.
oh, like the local assembly or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a local
the state
thing. They're
senate
like
or
the
whatever,
people against the stand up for the rights of the people. They
Yeah.
fight these, and since Seattle's so political and really smart about that stuff, they were like, build your own stadium. And so they're like, oh, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Watch, and we
I bet
become
they
the
had-
Thunder.
I bet they had that in the contract.
It
Oh, we can move the
sucks.
team if the stadium is over 20 years
Right.
old. It's like,
which
all right,
they
well,
kind
we're
of called
out.
our bluff.
Yeah.
Is what
well,
happened.
and then the big problem too is the city Nichols sued because we still had a year under the lease to play at the Key Arena.
yeah.
But he didn't sue to keep him in town. They settled, and then he's like, "All right, cool." And we're like, "What the fuck, man?" Like,
Yeah.
because if they
We
would have
got the
stayed,
rent.
because if they would have stayed another year, because we were trying to, because Steve Ballmer wanted to buy the team, like we were
Yeah.
trying to find any way to save him, and we probably would have if he didn't settle, because you would have won.
he just took
they
a-
would have won that case. They would have had to at least play one more year in Seattle to
Yeah.
play up the lease
Yeah.
and give the different options, and hopefully the NBA would have been like, "All right, maybe we'll expand."
And he just
Yeah.
took pennies on the
save
dollar
them.
to get
But
him
yeah,
out, and
but
then
he
ran
was
out
a
of
piece of
town.
shit. Yeah, so
Yeah, he took a little bribe too. That
exactly.
guy,
So,
for sure.
and the thing about the arena now we've had for the last couple years, since probably like 2012, we've had this new group trying to build an arena, and their problem is with the city is they don't want it to be built by our other stadiums.
Yeah.
Because like, oh, the traffic or whatever, and they've done the tests and it'll not be a problem, and they've done it for so long that they said we will completely privately fund it. 100%, and they still said no. And then that's when this new group came in to renovate Key Arena, and they've agreed to that. So, but
Here's something that just annoys me in general. Like, you want to hear me just be negative. This is something that makes me so
It's a
frustrated.
rarity. Jeff is never that. Never
Well, just
happened.
something that frustrates me is that, like, how many people have problems with things that, like a traffic thing? Oh, I don't want this to change because it'll cause too much traffic. Get a life that you're worried about, like that kind of stuff, or like the Razor scooters or whatever those are that are all over city.
Little
Birds.
scooter, yeah.
Little
Yeah,
bird scooters, right? It's providing jobs for people because they have to get people to go charge them up and like do all this different stuff. It's kind of a new little thing for people to like get around, getting people to get out and about. And if you
Yeah,
don't
it's
have
fun.
a
I
car,
took one the
yeah.
other night.
Yeah. Here's the thing. That now that people are like, well, I don't like it. They're laying around on the street. Why
That's
do
me,
you?
dude. I complain about it.
Why?
Yeah, what do you give a shit?
Because
You're not a fucking homeowner. Is it on your lawn? Like, how could you possibly give a shit?
No, because like I hadn't been to the beach like in years.
Okay.
And I went and it was just like they're just lying around everywhere. It makes it look like it's fucking deserted town, but it's not. It's like crowded and just looks like garbage. They make all these scooters look like garbage.
cares,
They're
though?
deserted everywhere.
I don't think
cares?
it looks like garbage. Like, in fact, a lot of cities have actual garbage just laying around. Like,
New York
these are
City,
like
we're at my hometown.
these
man.
are
It's fucking
scooters that you
everywhere.
can just go use. I think it's great, and like people are using them.
I picked one up the other night. I was going home from work, and I was
Yeah,
like,
when they're
I'm just like a
upright
mile
and they're
away. So I'm like,
orderly
I'm gonna
and
take
people
one.
are riding them, I don't give a shit.
And
When
then-
I see them lying around in the middle of the sidewalk because someone's like, fuck it, I'm here. Like, that's where I get upset.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, yeah, there's always going to be that. But I picked one up in front of this apartment building, and there was a guy out there waiting for like an Uber or something, and he like this thing was all new to him. So he's like, "Can I ask you a stupid question? Like, how do these things work or whatever?" And I kind of explained to him, and then he kind of was the same thing. He's like, "Yeah, we just get annoyed because they're like sitting out in front of our apartment building." I'm like, "Who cares? Why?
I
Do you
just think
do you just sit out here on the stoop and just like, hey, get off the stoop?"
Yeah,
like,
I think like there's
I'm
some
old and
homeless
grumpy.
guys
Yeah, what
that are like in my garage. Sometimes will be like doing crack like down in the garage. That bothers me for sure. But if it's just like looks like a scooter's there,
and then I had
it just looks like a bunch of little kids are playing. It's kind of cute. Like it doesn't bother me
I
at
mean,
all.
hopefully it would also, if they're complaining about traffic, wouldn't that cut down on traffic? People using those things instead of
Sure.
fucking cars?
Probably.
Yeah. And then there was another one. You have to find them on the app. And it's like, I always try to find them and they're always like missing or whatever.
Right.
And then I found one. It was 100% charged. And I was like, oh, yes. I'm like, where is this fucking thing? And then it was like
In the
in
tree.
someone's yard. And it was like gated. And I was like,
Yeah.
I'm sure I could open this gate and
And I
grab
bet that
it.
guy uses
Yeah.
it every day for work.
That's what I'm saying.
And
And
stuff.
I bet I
Totally.
could open this gate and get it. But it's like, I feel like someone's just waiting for me to come get it. And they're going to like
You think the
stab
guy
me.
drains it and then charges it and gets paid for
Probably
the
does.
charging, so it's like a free scooter for him to just.
I think that's
have
what's going to
around?
end up killing the business is not people complaining about them, but as it takes way too much to charge those things.
It's shocking they don't have something on there that's like solar
Right.
to charge it. That
Yeah.
shocks me.
I think a lot of the bikes are like those little bike
City bikes or whatever
City
they are?
bikes. It's charging it when you ride, and then there's like a little solar thing.
Well, because you actually pedal. These you don't really.
Yeah, because it's generating energy to like so that you can use the computer system to like
Yeah.
scan.
I
It.
love how they're just catering to people's laziness. It's like, all right, just forget walking. Like, why don't we all?
great.
Yeah.
But I think it makes people go longer distances instead. Like
It's true.
Yeah, because I like for my job, I'm like a mile and 1.2 miles away, and sometimes I'll walk if it's like a nice day and if it's not too late, like if I have shit to do and I
You
get
just
home.
scooter on in?
So it's like sometimes I'll scooter. It's quicker.
How much does the
It
scooter
takes
cost?
because it's only like $1 to start, and then like 15 cents per minute, and it'll only take me like 20 minutes.
If they were
So
always
it's
hanging
like
around the metro
$4.
stations, like if they had a bunch of them at the metro stations, I would take scooters.
Yeah, but so
all
instead
the
of taking
time.
like an Uber,
15 cents a minute.
yeah,
So what does that work out to like for an hour?
Times
let me
60,
do the math.
Randy.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
the finance guy.
I know. I don't have my.
$9 or something like
anymore,
that.
man.
$9.
well,
or
so you know,
something.
Dean Kamen's whole idea was there's plenty of
Yeah, $10 for
there's
now.
plenty of places that are too far to walk, but too close to drive.
Yeah.
And what do people do if it's that distance? They always drive. So if we have a problem with, you know, fuel consumption and oil
Yeah.
and, you know, the crap going in the air and stuff, like also parking's always an issue and traffic's always an issue. So like we've got to find a way that we can get these people to, you know, either do the long walk or make a middle device that we can get. And that's why you invented the Segway.
Yeah. I want. You know, I haven't seen those like those bird scooters. They have the bikes in New York. I wonder if the scooter would work in New York. I feel like people would get fucking killed riding those things.
There would be no way because here, even like
and the whole
There's a lot of problems
and they
here
would
with them already.
and they would
riding
be
in
stolen.
Hollywood is like I'm like gonna run into somebody.
Yeah.
New York, no way.
And so, and I mean,
There's
I'm
not
sure
a
there's
space.
like there's ways around. Like they figured out like how to keep people from stealing these things. But I assure you, in New York, someone would figure out
Now,
how to
people
steal them,
steal
and
them
make
all
money.
the time. The problem is that it's not a very good thing to steal because
They can shut them down. And
we've learned that just anyone can grab it.
Yeah, it's like,
So
yeah,
like
if
the
it's free, who
second,
gives a
we're
shit?
all
Yeah.
taught like just to go
And then-
start using it. So if you stole it and then you drove it somewhere, you're gonna get it stolen and away
Yeah.
from.
Yeah, no,
from-
you keep it in your front yard behind the gate. Tony's there 30 minutes later trying to open the gate.
Yeah, exactly.
But I
That's
can
also true.
also,
You have like a beacon, like, oh, it's in his house, just kicking in
Yeah.
the door.
yeah, because
100%.
they're all on Bluetooth and they're all on GPS, and I can like if I go to a spot where there's supposed to be one and there isn't one, I can report it on the app, and then someone will come check. And
Well, yeah. What's weird about it?
Birdman here.
I think what will end up killing that business, like I said, is that you have to charge them and they have to pay people to round them up and charge them. But what's bad about that is it does look like a man is just stealing 20 bird scooters when you see someone rounding them up for charging.
Yeah, I was driving, or I was in an Uber on Melrose, like at 5:30 in the morning, and so there's just like 50 of them lined up, and a guy's just like scanning them, and then another guy's just tossing them in the back of a pickup.
Yeah, and it looks like they're jacking them.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're not in a uniform or anything. I remember I was like, hey,
Actually,
man, that guy's taking like 20. And they're like, no, he's
Yeah, maybe he's even pretending. Maybe
Yeah.
who
Could be a
knows? He's like,
mechanic.
oh yeah,
because you can charge them overnight.
really scanning.
Yeah, they pay people to charge them, right? Like randomly.
Yeah, they do, or you could be a mechanic too if you know how to fix them too.
Interesting.
They pay, which pays you more, obviously.
My buddy JC charges them. Yeah, and it doesn't look comfortable. Have you seen someone trying to hold a few of those?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just looks.
I would only do it if I had a car. If I could
heavy.
round them up in a car.
He has a truck, so it works perfect.
yeah.
you need.
But even then, he has to go like find them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's part of the hunt.
well, and then
is
when you
that
put
he's
them
a-
back, you can't put them back like just in front of your apartment.
No, there's
you got to take them
there's
to places.
They're called nests.
Yeah, you can only put ever so
So
many
annoying.
back on Nest. It's a
That's what's going to
full
kill
racket.
the business.
And different ones, pay more. Like this one's like really dead, so it's like $20 to charge it. Where this one's only
Is
half
it
dead.
20? Is it
So it's
20
like,
is the amount they really pay? I thought they get like 3 to 7.
It depends. I've seen them on the app where it's literally if it's like dead, it might be
$20?
Wait, and where do you charge them? At your house?
Yeah, I bet you're losing money on the fucking electricity.
Well, electricity. Well, I don't know how electricity works, but I would like to know
yeah.
because I'm getting a little. I don't know the term for it. I don't know how to explain it. Like, so this guy stayed at my house, right? Chad Denick, and he would just leave his laptop plugged in to the wall the entire, like from morning till night. And for some reason, I don't know why. I'm working on myself, but that bothered me a lot.
Really? That?
Yes. Why? Does it have to be plugged in? Like, do you need your laptop charged 24 hours? It was like, but for some reason, I'm just like, it's a waste of energy. It's a hazard. It's some water.
Coming
might-
from a man that doesn't drive anything practical. He's like,
yeah, but it's because I'm also only really practically driving impractical things.
yeah.
So my motorcycle, I've driven like on Riverside. It's the only street it's been on. Like short trips. I'm not
Yeah.
wasting fuel, stuff like that. But I just, for some reason, that like drives me crazy. But I would like to know how much electricity is on things. Like I wish they could break it down. Like, oh, you're
Well, usually, I mean, with things these days, like I leave my laptop plugged in all the time at home, but it has power saving, where it's like it's not eating up a whole bunch of power just to keep it charged if I'm not
Still
using it.
Something. I saw somebody on Reddit said that they got their power bill down to $3 one month.
Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. And there was like, it's because they were like Jeff, and they're only home 3 days a week, but they literally kept everything unplugged unless they needed it at that
That's
moment.
a different.
Right.
That's
Because
a
it's
different
like-
thing, though.
Yeah, but like if you like look, because after I read that, I like looked around Jeff's living room, and it was just like TV's got a light to let you know the TV's plugged in. Every cable box, the iMac thing, or like
So-
the iTV, everything's got a little
Right.
pulsing light.
And they
to let
do
you
drain
know.
power.
Yeah, that costs something, and like all of that is like eliminated from.
I
that
used
guy's
to have a
place.
switch, but it's because I lived in like a tiny studio apartment.
Yeah.
But I had like one light switch, and when I would leave town for like the tour on Last Comic, I would just flip the switch, knowing everything's powered off.
Yeah,
Because it's all on that one light switch.
Yeah.
And then when I come home, I'd put that back on. And the only bad part about that was that the clocks would
yeah.
blink.
We got those
12
dim lights on every outlet. I mean, like you had something crazy, like 30 lights that just show that there's electricity going on. Even if you turn off every light in your living room.
Well, yeah, every wall. I've noticed every outlet in the apartment has a little light on it, so you know there's an outlet. Like
Right.
even when the
Yeah,
even
you
in
know
the
that
dark.
it's getting out. You know it's getting power.
Yeah.
Right. But those LED lights, that doesn't have.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not much. But at the same time, I'm just looking because like they.
No, LED lights are zero.
They still take
how can it
energy.
be zero?
But very low energy.
The ground on the thing is making the LED light go. Because it's got two little things on this
Yeah, no
side
matter
that like
what,
touch
no ma-
screws.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
this
the
is-
screws are making the LED lights shine down at the bottom of the thing.
Yeah.
But it's not using either of there's zero electricity coming out
And
of
this is
that.
also just another stupid fact that I know and don't need to, but no matter what, if you have electricity running to your house, you're losing some in transmission. So that light is picking up just whatever's already getting chucked off. I mean, I think they lose something like 20 to 25% of all the power generated gets lost just getting transmitted to homes.
Oh yeah, totally.
Across power lines from the power stations.
Oh yeah, no, doing power.
So that's why like meters, there's like big meter technology make a lot of money doing this, that they figure out how to basically turning off the grid at smart times to stop that transmission loss.
Interesting.
Oh yeah, when we did power at the cemetery, we'd bring in generators, and I had to try to
Cemetery?
figure out.
What were we doing at the cemetery?
He used to work at the
I
cemetery.
used to work at the cemetery, but it was like also like we had to figure out how many hundreds of feet we can keep things away from the generator so they don't hear it, but also that it gets enough power because everything starts at 20 watts, but it slowly becomes down to 15, 14, depending on how many hundreds
This
of
is
feet we
another
use.
thing I shouldn't say, but
Oh, now you have to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just because I don't know if it's insensitive, and maybe it's not, given after all of our conjoined twin talk. I feel like cemeteries are the biggest waste of space in the world.
Dude. Yeah, I mean, Carlin
There's
famously did
gotta
that.
be a better way. Like their spirits are
why.
gone. We don't need to respect the bones. Like burn it up. Let's burn up the bones. Use the
I find
land.
it wasteful. I'd agree with you 100%.
That's why I want to be
much
cremated.
I think there's time and a place.
Respect.
Like I know, like my grandfather's at the National Cemetery in Tahoma. At
Yeah,
Tahoma.
right by where I grew up.
Yeah, so it's like that's where all the military.
I almost
stuff
got
like that.
kidnapped by there.
Oh, geez, that's scary.
cool.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that, I feel like is great because
Was
it's
he
cool.
big?
It's great
Got a beard?
to kind of go and show respect for that.
But I feel like you can build a huge monument and cremate them and put them in some. So I don't know. I just feel like I kind of agree with Jeff in that it seems a little wasteful just for me personally, because I've asked my roommate, one of my roommates who's in medical school, is like, look, if how do I reach out so I can give I want to just donate my organs. I want the whole thing. It was like once I'm dead,
Yeah,
just
have
throw
it.
my body in a trash. Like
Yeah.
I'm not going to use
my
it. I don't
body
need it.
in the trash.
Yeah, have it.
Yeah.
We don't need it.
Yeah, it's like,
I'm not using
Officer,
it.
it's in writing. He
And
said
also,
in the
guess what?
trash.
My family's not going to be like, look, here was his arm. No, like, we have photos, we have memories, we have like video
Yeah.
recordings. There's pictures, everything.
Yeah, but I don't want to wake up and some raccoon's fucking Randy, like,
I do. That's great.
oh, he would have loved for this.
No, but in my mind, it's like so like think about how many cemeteries there are, right? Think about how many bodies are in the cemeteries. I like what you're saying. How many do you think if they did like a poll, like 4,500 of these gravestones had 0 visitors this year?
That's what I'm saying is why
Yeah.
I talk about like the National Cemetery where it's like a special thing.
Well, that's like a monument almost.
Exactly,
yeah.
because they get
Only popular people
ton
get to have their
it's a
bodies.
certain thing where it's like me personally, I'm the same way. Like just take my organs and cremate me, whatever you want to do.
Put their
Again,
name on a wall.
I don't
so like
even care.
those like ones that have all those names and stuff.
Right, but I think
so,
of something like that. It's almost like a national park, right?
Yeah,
It's like a thing, but just like I think because there's another one down the road that's just like a
yeah.
normal person cemetery. That exactly. I'm like,
Right.
I
And
don't know
it's
if that
all
needs
like
to.
it's freaking. Nobody can run on it because there's bodies under there. So everyone's like, "Hey, kids, don't run around and play on this. Like there's dead bodies under here." And they're like, "What?" Like
Then we wouldn't get all those good scenes like in Rocky when they visit gravestones and.
no, because those are just movies, Tone. We could just still
Yeah,
put
we
those
can
in.
still create those.
No one's taking that from you.
Yeah, but like the cemetery I worked
In
at.
30 years, people are like, where is this person? What is he talking to this giant brick for? It's
Yeah,
like,
totally.
oh, this is thing called a cemetery that used to exist.
That's also a huge
cemeteries
racket.
are like video stores. When I was young, I was fine with it. But now we're about to get
but
rid of
yeah,
them.
no, there's literally a baby section of the cemetery I worked in where there was
Oh
infants.
my God.
But these dates on these headstones are 150 years old.
Yeah, at what point?
Whatever-
everyone that
whatever
knew you was
grievance
already
was
dead.
needed
Why
for
is there
this
still a
baby?
grave for you? Like everyone that ever knew you was gone. Can we move?
Yeah, because is there
Yeah.
statute of limitations on this? Like, do you own the plot for a certain amount of time and then
Yes.
they clear
Like
you out?
forever.
Yes.
Well, that's a big scam
No,
too.
it's
Is the
not
funeral
forever.
services business
Because they do.
Oh, yeah.
They do.
They
uproot 'em.
overcharge just like weddings,
They
funeral
do,
services.
They
Yeah.
do take them out.
Yeah.
Oh, they do move the bodies.
Yeah.
What? Really? What do they do with them?
I mean, there's a lot. That's a whole nother
Holy
business.
shit, dude! That's
I
creepy.
mean, like, especially like in
They
this,
reuse the caskets.
I asked if you buy your plot of land, like, is it like
Is
are
it
you
forever?
leasing it or are you buying it?
it's more of a lease.
That's
So they are moving. They are recycling
there's actually
Yeah.
cemetery
You
space.
didn't pay the bill. He's
There's a-
out of here. It's like Storage Wars.
Although the other crazy thing is that, like in LA, where we have like the celebrity bodies, when maybe last year, the cemetery I used to work for bid and won Judy Garland's old body, and they moved it.
they bid for a dead body.
Yeah, and so they
How's that
took
legal?
it out of the ground and put it in a fucking
Yeah, who'd they buy it from?
Because maybe
a different cemetery.
So how'd she look?
She still hit the high notes.
I like that Aaron wasn't even done with his eye roll on my statement before he answered hot. He was like, hot.
Definitely hot.
But I mean, like, there's a whole bunch of that. There's a lot of those celebrity graves that are there that
Yeah.
either never had that person that's just a monument for the fans to go to.
Right.
And then there's the ones that have been rerouted.
Yeah, well, also, what's to stop from saying, yeah, we have Judy Garland's body? Like, who's checking? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think that's the thing that's
This is
interesting.
a
her daughter's
melancholy
still on
episode.
Earth.
No, it's not. I think it's great. One thing I think that's interesting though is how are people griping about bird scooters being laid around that people are using, but no one seems to care that we have acres and acres of dead bones underneath land that no
I
one's
complain
using.
about both. I don't get
Yeah.
to choose one. I can complain about everything.
Just like their priorities are all
out
mixed
of
up.
whack.
Yeah, we should take those bodies
Because
out,
I don't
put them
go
on bird
frequent
scooters.
cemeteries, but I frequent the streets that are littered with
Well,
these
I don't
bird
frequent
scooters.
cemeteries ever.
I do it all the time.
Anyone that I've ever known that's died, I don't even think they have a headstone or anything like that. But
Not a one?
I do drive by a lot of cemeteries, and I'll be like, look, there's another giant. You just see them all like it's like all the
We
headstones.
can
lined up.
almost see Carrie Fisher's grave from where we drink coffee every day.
Really?
Yeah, it's right on the other side of Warner Brothers.
Is it pretty big?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. If you ever want to go, I know
Yeah.
exactly where it is. We
Let's
can
go
go see
tomorrow.
some of them.
Yeah, I wonder what the visit rate is on an average grave, because like why not bury someone in North Dakota where the land's cheap? It's like, yeah,
Now,
I, go
wait a
there
second.
I see my grandmother once, my grandma's grave once a year.
Well, I
Why
like
not
As
go
the
a
there?
guy
idea-
who worked in a
Whatever,
cemetery, when you say average, are you talking about like the average celebrity grave or the average like Randy died grave?
I mean, Randy died grave. There's only like 1,000 celebrities in the world. Like most people are just normal, everyday working Joes. Those people. How often are they getting visited?
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Probably never.
I feel like
you
there's
know
a
what I'm
couple a
saying?
year.
You walk around and
They
see how many
get a
fresh
couple
flowers
year.
are on graves. That's how often they're getting visited.
That's true. But like, I think to myself, like, let's say let's say my sister was buried and I could go to a place to visit her. I at most would maybe go once a year.
Yeah,
I'm not going more than once a year. What for what?
Yeah.
yeah.
She's not answering any questions.
Right. I'm not getting to see her. I mean, like I might look at photos of her every day. I might think
Yeah.
about her all the time.
That's-
I'm not going to a
But
place.
there are people who do make it their daily business to go to those cemeteries
every day.
every day.
Yeah. There's like
There are regulars
widowers
of
out
those
there.
cemeteries.
Well,
100%.
we shouldn't be, helping them with that. We're
Yeah, helping them keep depressed. It's
what's
like
that term? When like you're-
Enabling?
Enabling,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
enabling.
Yeah, there
them.
is an
Like,
enabling.
You have a problem, and if we get rid of this place,
That actor that was in Star Trek that died, the young one.
Anton.
Oh, yeah,
Well,
that
Shatner's
guy.
still alive.
His parents are at his statue every single
that is a
day.
tough one. It's very rare when I hear people die, and I think this one was way too. I can't. Like it shocked me.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like
Yeah,
when
no,
Mac
like-
Miller died, I was like, yeah, that makes sense. I met him years ago, and I'm surprised he
As
wasn't.
sad, as sad as it
this far,
is, it
yeah.
makes
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah,
sense.
it's horrible. I'm not saying it's good. I just like everyone was like, but he was so young. It's like he lived
Fast.
very fast.
Yeah.
He did so much
Yeah.
drugs, and I was at a golf tournament with him. He didn't even sleep for 4 days. He's just trashed out of his mind on drugs. Whereas that kid was a very successful actor,
And that was just a freak accident with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
car.
a
that
really
got-
weird accident.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of Paul Walker, but it was shocking when
Right.
he passed.
Yeah, it rattled me. But so that is really heartbreaking that his parents are having
Yeah.
trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Because it's like, you go there because it was the cemetery that
They
he's
still
at.
can't believe it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. And they're just like, oh, yeah, a statue's coming soon. Like, they were there the whole process. When you go now, like, I took my brother to it to show him, like, where I used to work and all the
Yeah.
things.
I want to see Carrie Fisher. Let's do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
We talked about a lot of stuff here, guys, but I just want it to be clear. When I die, I need you guys to visit all the time.
Your house,
we're gonna
Yeah, maybe here.
we're gonna
my bones aren't going to be in the ground.
We're gonna set up a tent. We're just gonna
Yeah.
hang out.
Just chill, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
keep this going.
We're gonna put your corpse right in that
Yeah.
seat.
I
It's
need you
all
to be
in the
really
podcast.
sad.
Yeah,
Really
whenever
sad.
there's a
no,
new
it's like we're
Hasbro.
happy he was a good. No, I need you to be. I want crying.
Yeah,
I want,
bawling.
I
yeah.
want all that.
I mean, I do that every weekend when you leave anyway. So like, it'll just be
Yeah,
magnified.
okay, yeah, but like I'm never coming back.
it'll just be magnified. I'll
like, what is
never
he,
stop.
What is he playing Vegas? Why has he been gone
Yeah,
this long?
Oh, yeah, I'll just be like, oh, another one-nighter, Tony. I'm so sorry. Wait, what's everyone's dying wishes? Round table.
Oh God, I don't know.
How does it work?
I mean, I know I want to be cremated. I know I told you that I
Oh,
want to
like
be
what to
like
do with
in
your
like
remains?
yeah, I want to be like in 20 little bags, and my
don't-
20 closest
donate-
friends get a bag.
And
That's
then
so
snort
cool.
it like cocaine, like
Whatever
whatever.
the fuck they want to do with it.
My
If they
dying
want to put
wish-
it in their
Oh, let him
backyard.
finish. Okay, what are you guys doing? He's so 20. Did you hear what he said?
20 bags and cremate it in
each
20 bags.
friend gets one.
Right.
Yeah, wherever the
What
fuck
do
they want to put it.
Can I put it in a baseball card? So it's like some of my cards
That's
have
what you
little
want.
jersey squares.
100% that's what you
Aaron
want.
has like a little piece of his body.
My brother wants to put in an
Why
etch a
did they-
sketch. That's a fucking.
An etch a sketch with human ashes.
I think
Yes.
that's a funny thing to do with, but he's not an etch a sketch guy.
Chris?
Would he play with your dead body every day?
Yeah, I totally would. I'd be like, hey, is this your wiener ashes? I'm gonna draw a wiener with your
What
wiener
if he
ashes.
just like got you to a taxidermist and stuffed you? That'd be kind of funny.
I don't think they can do that.
Why not? If it's your,
I don't think it's legal.
But it's America. It's my body, and I'm dead. Why can't why?
But it's
Well, I know that
America does not make
plasticizing-
it legal.
Good
The
point.
plasticizing thing would be kind of the closest, right? Because with the
Yeah, like Body World or whatever.
Yeah.
Body
Just dip
Works.
me in bronze and
like the bodies exhibit, that's
Yeah, that's it.
plasticizing.
Yeah.
But with an animal, you're pulling like the fur and all that stuff over a foam shaped
Yeah.
thing. But for a human, could you do that with like skin and stuff?
No, because it's a living organ.
oh, it's a good point. It's right.
So plasticizing would be the closest
Oh, it
you
would be
could
like
do.
when a Muppet deteriorates over years, except a human body. You disgusting piece of shit.
That was funny that Yoda looked so good in the last movie, but the puppeteer was the same guy, and since he's all
Yeah.
old, it didn't look right.
That's right.
It looked like they had me be the puppeteer.
Yeah.
Like it was his face was folding in at times. It was very strange.
Frank Oz. He doesn't have the hand he used to have.
He doesn't have the same, but they want to honor him. He's Yoda, so
Right.
like let him do the puppeteering. But it was like it was rough.
That's so funny. Like you even with age, you decline in puppeteering. I feel like that was something that time wouldn't slow you down. Like,
No, because you got to be very
Yeah, it's
agile.
very
oh,
agile.
yeah, I guess
Yeah,
I guess it's
arthritis,
arthritis. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
Articulation.
Dying wishes, baby.
Just donate my organs, try to save some people, and then I don't give a fuck. To
Goodwill?
Do
just a
whatever-
goodwill. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Drag his dead body to Goodwill.
And
What
it's
is
like,
this?
when
Don't
I'm,
ask.
Yeah, when I'm dead, it's not really up to me. Whatever
Squish,
my family wants
squish,
to do,
squish.
just cremate me because that's. I mean, if I had to choose, because it's just easy and then do whatever you need
I'm
to do.
happy to say that I'll die way before you. You'll never
I
have to
don't know.
worry
Excuse
about
me?
that.
I don't know.
I will, dude.
I'm
I'm
gonna
dead.
outlive everyone at this
Oh, do you
table
think you're gonna
against
die
my own
young?
wishes. I'm sure.
I won't die young, but Tony's younger than me by a decade. I'll die before Tone.
I could
Yeah, but if
get hit by
diet's
a
any
bus on the way
concern-
home
So you know how
tonight.
much I drink and how
Yeah, that's true.
I am always out. I'm always in a plane. Those can crash. I'm always in a stupid fucking motorcycle or a weird truck with Mad Max tires. I feel like, time's
You're
ticking
begging
every
for
day,
it.
baby.
Yeah, but
This guy
I,
doesn't drink.
Yeah, but I have time
That's
ticking
true.
bombs too. I got diabetes on my
Oh,
back.
yeah.
Oh, that'll get you.
Hanging
That'll
around.
get you every time.
We got to make
Diabetes
sure.
is undefeated.
We got to keep. Stop making screen peeker shirts and put that on a shirt. Diabetes is
God.
undefeated.
How many pitches it would take for him to kill off Tony? He said one.
Yeah. I can do it right away. if
One
I want.
sugar,
first pitch.
one sugar
I'll
fastball.
give this motherfucker the sugar. My God is black, just so you know. What's your dying wishes, Randy?
Yeah, the whole body goes to science, man. Organs to use, and then the rest of me, cadaver.
Well,
to
what about your money and stuff? What about those
Community
kind of
college
wishes?
science or good
I don't
science?
plan on having a wife or kids, so it's going to be
Yeah, so who are you going to give it to?
probably my niece and nephew.
Niece and nephew?
Yeah.
Man, they lucked out. They're like, Uncle Randy didn't get married or have kids, so we are rich. I feel like that was the hardest part. My finance guys are like, what do you want? What are your last wishes for your money and stuff? And I was like, well,
Big fucking
my
party.
parents, I'm probably going to live longer than them, maybe, I guess. And even if I did die, I don't want my parents to have it. That's not,
What are they going to do?
They'll
with it?
waste
Yeah.
it.
well, they won't know what to do with it. Yeah,
And they'll be on their way out soon too. I
and they're
imagine.
fine. And
Yeah.
so I don't think that would be a good use of giving them the money. And then I know a lot of like wealthy people, like Terry Bradshaw. They don't need my money. And as I don't have kids. My nieces and nephews are, they're fine. I don't need to give it all to them.
What do you think?
So I was like,
Foundation?
just give it to the bank.
What?
Give
They've
it
been
to the
good
bank?
with it.
When he said that, I'm in the parking lot in his car like, what?
I know. His fucking finance guy was like, "Are you out of your mind? Give it to the bank."
Wells Fargo has been real reliable. they've every time they always have it. I need some money. They give me my money. It's great.
It's time to pay him.
No, when I told my financial advisor that, he was laughing for like 45 minutes about
Give
it.
it to the
I was
bank,
like,
they're
I'm
good with it.
kidding, obviously, because no one's ever said that. He's also never had a comedian as a client, so he's just like, "You're crazy. You said bank. You want the bank to have it. We all hate the banks, and you're gonna give it."
Give him the money.
My actual dying wishes, what would it be? Yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe I'd just like to have some sort of, I don't know. I guess I like when that one guy died in comedy. His best friend kept posting things of his stand-up for a while after that. Do you remember? Josh Adam Myers. And
Yeah, no, I know exactly who.
yeah.
I don't know if you wanted to keep their names in or out of it.
No, I think that's respectful.
Because when you just called him that one guy, I'm like, we're not going to name Angelo Bowers.
Angela Bowers. Yeah. Well, I didn't know him.
Yeah.
But when Angela Bowers died, Josh would always be like, hey, I miss you every day. Like, here's a clip. This guy was really funny. And there wasn't a lot of video of Angelo telling jokes.
There was. And he didn't have a Twitter, and they created a Twitter, and every joke that people remembered him saying was posted
That's
on Twitter.
cool. That's
super
a cool
Yeah,
thing.
I like that kind of, that way of like being like,
Live forever.
just so you know, like this was a really funny guy who,
Yeah, I don't want anything morbid either. It's like just throw a party and tell some old tell stories about me, funny like whatever, some funny stories.
Yeah, and then I'm pretty sure all this shit will just go to my comic friends. That's my family, my friends. That's why it's called Jeff Dies Friendship.
Can we
dog.
just have a Royal Rumble?
Yeah, whatever you
Like
want.
it's just like we get a thing in the mail. It's just like just has a date and a time. Like what the fuck?
Last
And then
man
we
standing keeps it off.
then you
Last
just
man
take
standing keeps it off.
Yeah, you just take anything you want.
Well,
Just
that
like
is
free
Jeff
from-
knows WWF superstars.
Yeah, they just be power
Oh,
bombing.
exactly. If it's just the people in this room, I'm getting all the money, guys.
Wait a minute.
But no, Scott
Sheamus
Hall
is on this
and
list?
Yeah.
Fucking Becky.
There
I'm
was
like,
a
oh my
mohawk.
god, no! She'll kick my ass.
That'd be amazing. But I will say that's something that everyone should have in their will is that when they say, like, listen, here's what my stuff goes to. Here's who this goes to so-and-so, this goes to so-and-so. And anything else that you guys are going to have to work out amongst each other. Don't fight about it. I've seen so many people have
Yeah,
fights
it's
with
terrible.
their loved ones.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Because they wanted something from a dead relative. Like
who
death is
cares?
supposed to bring you together, not
Tear you apart
not
like
tear you
that.
apart. 'Cause,
Which,
"Oh, I wanted mom's ring, and then she has mom's ring, and I didn't get it, and mom always told me that I
And
was
I
gonna.
love her more, and blah blah.
It's
Shut
so
up.
annoying.
Yeah, it's the worst.
This has been a fun episode, guys. I think we covered a lot
We're
of
from
ground.
weird to morbid.
It's all very weird.
Yeah. Nothing was normal,
Yeah,
which is why I like this episode.
but we did it. Thanks for listening, guys. We love y'all.
Thank you for having me, Jeff.
Yeah, of course, Randy.
Friendship.
What a fun episode. Thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for listening. If you're watching this on Patreon, we love you. Thank you very much. If you want to hear more from Aaron Marsh, go to search Aaron Marsh on Instagram, or Aaron Michael Marsh, I think, and you can watch all of his memes and videos. The guy's very funny. He's got a bunch of stuff going on. You can also see where you can see him do stand-up. Randy Valerio has a very funny podcast called Ready, Set, Blow. He is a comedian from Boston, and he's a really smart guy. So you'll love the podcast. It's if you like ours, because I'm a dumb guy. His podcast is a smart guy. And then Tony Reavis, as always, doing the video game stuff, Screen Peeking. Go to Screen Peekers. He has a great podcast that sometimes records right here in the studio. We love you guys. Thanks so much. Like I said, go to patreon.com/JeffDye. Sign up. We can do some meet and greets, see some stand-up, and get a lot of content. We love you guys. Thanks so much.